Welcome to This Week in BJJ, the world's first and only live jiu-jitsu show. Brought to you by Zebra Mats, simply Z-Best. Q5 Labs, Stay Alpha. And Defense Soap, defend what you have built. And here's your host, Budo Jake.
Hello guys, and welcome to a new episode of This Week in BJJ. I'm Budo Jake, and it's been a while. We got a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to talk about ADCC's new events in the US. We're going to talk about Gabi Garcia and the USADA testing. We're going to talk about the recent developments at Gracie Barra headquarters in Irvine. And then we're going to talk about a couple new products. And finally, we're going to get to an interview and some techniques from Carlos Terrinha. It's a really cool choke. I know you're going to like it that he shows. But for now, let's get to the news. So all of you guys know ADCC. It stands for the Abu Dhabi Combat Club. This is the best no-gi jiu-jitsu tournament that takes place every 2 years. It started, I think, in 98 or 99 in Abu Dhabi by the Sheikh. And it's a great tournament that gets the best no-gi grapplers together every 2 years in different parts of the world. Well, now they're starting to have tournaments in the U.S. Before, they only had trials, usually East Coast trials and a West Coast trials. But now they're going to start doing tournaments all over the country. They're going to be gi and no-gi. And the first one that they're going to have is called the ADCC New York tournament. It's going to be open to all ages and levels. It's going to be gi and no-gi. The date is April 6th. This is a Sunday, and it's going to be held at Queens College in Flushings, New York. For more information, go to ADCCAmerica.com. And not only is it going to be a tournament, but this is something I think is really cool. Every tournament that they do, they're going to have a super fight. And the super fight at this one, I think, is a really nice matchup. You got Gary Tonin versus DJ Jackson. Both of these guys bring a lot of energy to their matches. Gary, you might remember from the ADCC tournament in Beijing, he had an excellent match against Chrome Gracie. And he also entered the Absolute Division, fought Cyborg, fought Buchecha. Just a really exciting guy to watch. So this will be a really fun event. So if you're in the area, I encourage you to go to it. But if you can't make it, don't worry. We're going to get the footage, and we'll be posting the footage of the super fight on our YouTube channel. So ADCC New York, ADCCAmerica.com for more information. Next up, let's talk about IBJJF. You might recall in 2013 that USADA paired up with the IBJJF to do random drug testing of the black belt adult world champions. And some people were surprised that nobody got caught. I'm not sure how the inner workings of USADA work and why it takes so long to get the results, but we just found out last week IBJJF made a statement and USADA made a statement that one of the athletes was caught. And the athlete was Gabi Garcia, who most of you guys know is the most dominant female jiu-jitsu competitor of all time. And I'm just going to read the statement from IBJJF. They say, it was determined through the full and fair legal results management process that there was a credible explanation for the presence of, this is what the drug is called, clomiphene in Miss Gabrielle Lemos Garcia's sample, and that the athlete was found not to be at fault. So it's important to note that while they found this drug in her system, she was not at fault. She has accepted the findings, and the loss of results will be carried out by the IBJJF. So if she was found at fault, then there would have been much worse penalty. I don't know what that would have been, but for now, they're stripping her of her 2013 title, but she can still compete at any IBJJF events. So for more information, you can read the full statement at the USADA website and the full statement on IBJJF.com. But I wanted to get a little more information, so I talked to one of my doctor friends about it, because I had never heard of clomiphene before, and he suspected that that is usually used for fertility reasons. So Gabi Garcia could have been trying to start a family. Have not heard actually from Gabi. She did make a statement on her Facebook page. Didn't say a whole lot about why that drug was in her system, but suffice to say, it's not a steroid. It's not really a performance-enhancing drug. So there we go. Okay, last news topic for today, and this one is a sensitive one for me. Most of you guys know that I spend most of my weeknights down at Gracie Barra headquarters in Irvine, California. And we had a huge shakeup the past weekend, and there's a lot of misinformation going on online, but basically what happened was a few months ago, the headquarters was sold to a couple students, a couple of my teammates at Gracie Barra. And for whatever reason, a business decision was made to fire the head instructor, who was Otavio Souza. And this was done through email while he was away in Costa Rica teaching a seminar. So we all found out over the weekend that suddenly our teacher was no longer going to be teaching there. And, pretty much all the students left. And some people find that hard to believe because there's, I don't know how many hundreds students there. It's a 2-level facility with classes going on all day, every day. But almost all the students left. The reason, not only because the instructor left, but because of who they brought in. They brought in Joe Moreira, and I'm not going to say anything bad about Joe. I know he's had a long history in jiu-jitsu in America. I'm sure he's a great coach. I've never actually taken one of his classes, but it's a Gracie Barra school. We expect to learn from Gracie Barra instructors, and Joe's not. So most of the upper belts, including myself, are loyal to the team. So we're going to follow Otavio wherever he goes. But I was talking to a well-known world champion, black belt world champion, who will go, I won't say who it is, but he said, you can't just change the name on the outside of a building. You can't just change the instructor and expect people to stay. People are loyal to their instructor, and that's what we're seeing. So huge change at Gracie Barra headquarters. It's not even referred to as headquarters anymore now. People are just calling it Gracie Barra Irvine, and it remains to be seen how much longer it'll even be a Gracie Barra. I don't know. As for my own training, people have asked me, are you going to stay with Gracie Barra? What are you going to do? We train here at the office at Budo Videos, so I'm going to continue that. But other than that, I'll probably just bounce around to various Gracie Barra academies. Some guys have gone down to Saddleback. Some guys have gone to Mission Viejo. These are cities near Irvine. But anyway, big changes for Gracie Barra in Southern California. But we've been through tough times before. Well, I'm sure we'll be all right. So that's the news for today. Now let's get to new products. If you attended the Pan Jiu-Jitsu Championships, then you saw that we had a limited amount of Control Industries gis called the Voyager. This is a Hawaii-themed gi, and it sold out at the tournament. But we have some gray ones that are going online today. Today is March 28th. I'm not sure when you might be watching this video. We may or may not have any left, but check out BudoVideos.com, the new Controller Voyager gi. It's a really nice looking gi. It's a gray color, which is a little unusual. Price is $169.99, and the quantities are limited. Next up, we got my DVD, Going Upside Down. I've talked about this a little bit last week. This is a beginner's guide for inverting. Inverting is a process of spinning upside down. It's what you use if you're going to berimbolo or do tornado guard or a lot of different modern guards use inversions. It's a great way to recover guard if your guard's being passed, and it's something that I felt that not enough people have really broken down to show the fine details. So that's what I attempted to do on this DVD, and I'd like to just read a couple quick testimonials. Somebody posted this review. Guard Smasher says, "Thank you for making this DVD. I never thought I could do a small man's game, but these drills are starting to prove otherwise. While I'm not an expert, I'm starting to move in new ways that I didn't think I could." Thanks for that comment, Guard Smasher. And one more from Mr. Nelson. R. Nelson says, Budo Jake does a great job of making complex movements easy to understand. 5 stars. Thanks for the nice feedback, guys. If you want to pick this up, you can get the DVD on BudoVideos.com. It's also available on demand, or you can get it in the iTunes App Store. Let's take a look at a quick commercial.
A lot of people think that they can't invert, but for the most part, that's not true. Almost everybody can invert. Learn how to invert, and your guard is going to be much more difficult to pass. Inverting is a huge part of the modern open guard game. It's a big part of De La Hiva, Reverse De La Hiva, and Tornado Guard. In this section, I want to show you how often inversions are used at the highest level of competition to recover guard. Notice how Cyborg stops Glover's hips from coming forward and rotates underneath to recover guard.
Break one grip and invert.
Now we're going to make it a little bit more dynamic, as Dane's going to try to pass my guard. You're not going to get the hang of it just by watching it once. You're really going to have to practice it. So I'd encourage you to practice these every day. Show up to your academy a little bit early and do some of those solo drills, or grab a partner, do some of the partner drills, and get good at inverting.
Okay, it's that time of the show for viewer email. So B. Riley writes in, what's your take on supplements for BJJ? I have some teammates who use them, and I'm wondering if I should too. This is a pretty big topic in any athletic event, sporting events. You know, a lot of people have different opinions, but you're asking for my opinion, and I use very little supplements. I think if you are doing everything else you can to perform as good as you can, which means training as much as possible, doing as much conditioning, strength and conditioning work as possible, and eating as well as you can, then why not throw some supplements on top of that? But if you're eating like a slob and you're training once a week, then supplements aren't going to really give you much improvement, in my opinion. I don't go crazy with supplements. Pretty much the only things I use is protein. I use the Q5 vanilla protein. I mix it in with my acai smoothies every morning. But you know, I know a lot of other people do other things. There's a whole range of supplements you can get. You can spend a lot of money on those things too. But you know, you might want to experiment and see what works for you. For me, I don't feel like I need much more than just eating well, exercising a lot, getting enough rest. I remember back in maybe the first few months or first year of training in jiu-jitsu that I would always stop off at the liquor store before training and get an energy drink because I felt like I would need as much energy as possible so I could really smash people and go as hard as possible. I don't do that anymore. I think the more you learn, the more you can learn how to be relaxed and move more efficiently. So that's my take on supplements. But we do sell a lot of supplements on Budo Videos. We carry the Q5 line. I think it's a really good line of supplements, so feel free to check that out. But in my opinion, just take it slowly and see what works for you. Don't get a whole ton of different things, but take it slowly and see how it improves or doesn't improve your performance. Okay, now we're going to do an interview. This is one we did a couple days ago with a guy named Carlos Terrinha. He is a 4th degree black belt under Draculino. He's the head instructor of Gracie Barra, New England, and you'll see him reffing at a lot of IBJJF events. And he showed me one of the strongest chokes I've ever felt. He calls it the Terminator choke, and I think you're really going to like it. I could not believe how much pressure he was able to apply. Carlos Terrinha, check it out.
Hey guys, welcome back to This Week in BJJ. I'm Budo Jake, and today I'm happy to have Carlos Alberto, better known as Terrinha, here today. Carlos, I know you've been competing for a long time. I always see you reffing out there as well. Let's start out, and I want to know how you got into jiu-jitsu in the beginning.
Jiu-jitsu was a funny thing for me because when I began to train jiu-jitsu, Budo Jake, jiu-jitsu wasn't famous. Like in my city and my state have 2 jiu-jitsu school only.
What year was this?
In Brazil, it was 89. And it wasn't Gracie Jiu-Jitsu there yet. So I began to train Jiu-Jitsu because I was a delivery boy, and then I find the school, I never heard about Jiu-Jitsu. And I look at the class, I feel that interesting, and begin to train over there with José Adilson, the name of the teacher, and the school called Gavião Jiu-Jitsu.
Do you remember what excited you at that time? Because most guys in America, they almost always say Hoist Gracie in the UFC. But this was before the UFC. What attracted you to jiu-jitsu?
The funny thing, like I said, I used to be a capoeira guy. I trained capoeira for 8 months, right? And then I never heard about jiu-jitsu by the time. I never know what was it. Nobody told me about jiu-jitsu, and I was doing delivery. I saw the sign on the school, and I'm like, what's that? And I get near to the door, I started to look over the binder or whatever it was, and I saw people rolling on the floor. I'm like, what are people doing inside the gym? It's a kind of funny, like, what is that? And then I took a class, was like a 2 or 3 class. Because I came for train a little bit of capoeira, I feel like, man, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like I never was rolling with somebody. But I started to see they doing techniques and stuff like that. I get interested with the technique. I'm like, man, that thing is beautiful. I have to learn that.
There are quite a few other guys, Brazilians, that practiced capoeira before. Guys like Michael Langhi and Cobrinha, and you can see the flexibility and the balance really carries through to the jiu-jitsu. Do you feel that capoeira helped your jiu-jitsu at all?
It's helped a lot. I tell my students that. Help a lot. I cannot tell my jiu-jitsu because I trained capoeira for 8 months. And then like a couple years ago, I trained for 6 more months over here in the United States. But I know it's a very good balance, very good flexibility. And everyone jiu-jitsu guy should train capoeira a little bit, you know, to increase his game. And I know those guys who stick with capoeira for a long time and do jiu-jitsu and get a black belt in jiu-jitsu, they have a different type of game.
And so you started training in 1989. When did you decide to come to America, and why?
The thing is, I started to train, like you say, in 1989. And when I got my brown belt, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu moved to my city. And then I heard a lot about when I was watching Royce Gracie by the time. I was watching Royce Gracie, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil by the time. And I started to get excited about learning what the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is. And then, as I said, Draculino moved to my state, opened the gym over there. Couple months later, or a year later, I started to train with Draculino. And then after that, I saw a couple people come to compete in Pan Am. I think it was the first Pan Am on Florida. I get excited to see like if I can compete in Pan Am one day. In Brazil, like you have like a kind of difficult time to travel for out of the country because the situation of money and stuff like that, the economy. I was thinking like, man, that's a very nice tournament, the Pan Am, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to compete in Pan Am one day because it's United States, too far from me. And then in 2001, I got the sponsorship. Then I came to Pan Am in Kissimmee, Florida, and I fought my first time in the Pan American Championship as a brown belt, lightweight, and I won my division and second place on open class. Then I go back to Brazil, compete a little bit more over there. In 2002, I decided to come to live in the United States and compete over here. And since 2003, I live in the United States. I just go back to Brazil 2 times in 2010.
Nice. Let's talk about Draculino for a moment. He has a reputation of being an amazing instructor, and a lot of tough guys have come out of his school in Belo Horizonte. Mm-hmm. What are some of the big names you trained with in Brazil?
Romulo Barral, Irapuru, Tite, Valide, Little Valide, that they call him over there, Cranivata, Tio Chico. Those guys was all, I trained with them all over there, like at the same time. When I began to train over there, there was blue belt, maybe someone purple belt.
What was the training atmosphere like? Was it really strict, or really people was training super hard?
Over there they train hard, but man, Draculino school is crazy. I came back there in 2010 and I was like 20 black belts at 12 o'clock in the day, afternoon. 20 black belts on a mat, all new guys. I didn't even know them. I didn't even train with them before, and they still train the same way that was over there. It's a tough train, really, really tough train.
A lot of guys that just watch the bigger tournaments here think that we know all the big names, but there's a lot of guys in Brazil that never make it over here to compete. Yeah. Are there a lot of tougher guys in Brazil that we don't know about?
Yeah, because like I said to you from the beginning, it's difficult to travel, to come out of the country. It's a lot of money involved. And sometimes, like you can save your money, but you come over here and you feel like, man, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna lose. Like it's too much money to put on it, and hard to get a sponsorship over there. So I know, like I have a lot of guys over there who train really hard, and if they have a chance to come to Pan Am, probably it's gonna be like a world champion, Pan Am, and nationals. If they come over here, probably it's gonna be like a different view. Like there's a lot of tough guys over there.
Cool. So you moved here, you opened up your own school. How many schools do you have now, and where are they?
I teach in Boston, Gracie Barra, New England, in Milford, and I have like 3 affiliations. They all near to Boston.
All right, very good. Are you enjoying teaching, or do you enjoy competing?
I enjoy both. I've been every single week I come to Pan Am over here. And I enjoy to come over here all the time. Like even when I'm hurt, I'm gonna go to Pan Am anyway. I don't care if I lose or win. I want to be there. I want to be between the energy. I see those guys walking over there, going to fight and help the tournament grow as work as a referee. It's like I feel like I I belong to that place, you know what I mean? And also teach too, like my students at my gym, they love to be there, they like the class, and I enjoy a lot to be there showing them position.
You and I both are on double duty when we go to the pans. You know, we're both competing while we're there, and you're reffing, and I'm doing commentary. So it's a busy week for us.
Busy week, yeah, busy week. So some people ask me about like when I walk around, they say, how you do that? Like I saw you over here working for like 5 days, 4 days, and you're still competing. Like man, I just like I love what I'm doing, and if I lose or win, I just want to be there.
So let's talk about reffing for a moment. Reffing is a very difficult job. You know, you have to stay focused all day long, and a lot of people say bad things about the refs because nobody likes to lose. Sometimes I feel like they blame the refs, and who knows? Sometimes refs might make a mistake. It's, you know, human error exists in every job.
Yep.
Do you enjoy the job? And yeah, let's start with that. Do you enjoy reffing?
Yeah, I enjoy to be a referee. It's like one of those things like I feel like I help the sport grow because, you know, they don't have a lot of referees. They need referees. And a lot of people don't want to be a referee just because of that. Those guys say bad names, call kind of like some like a stupid thing outside just because they student lost. Sometimes they lost on a mat, they get mad at us. But one thing that I knew working in referee for like a few years is our sport have to change a little bit. Like our competitor and teachers, they don't show up to do referee course. And they complain all the time, and most of the time when they complain, they are wrong and they keep complaining. So they should go to the referee course, see what's changed, and then they can complain a little bit better. And don't just like say bad words and get mad and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, people that play basketball, they know the rules of basketball, and people that do jiu-jitsu should know the rules too. And in my academy, at Gracie Barra headquarters, people are always asking me, oh, what's the rule on this? What's the rule on that? And you know, if you're an active competitor, you should go to the rules course, download the PDF, read the rules, and know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're wasting your money, right?
Yep. Like last week, like I told yesterday, I was a whole last week working on my own tournament, and I have a parents over there complaining because the ref stopped a kid, like 12 years old, a fight on umber position, and they was complaining, and then they come to talk to me. I told them, I'm really sorry. You guys should go to the internet, download the rules, the BJJ rules, read the rules because the ref did the right thing. He stopped the guy, the little kids, because they don't want the kids get hurt, and that's the rules. Right. If you know the rules, you're not gonna be complaining about it.
Right. Nobody wants someone to get hurt.
Yeah.
The parents complain if the match is stopped early, but they're gonna complain more if it gets hurt.
Yep.
All right.
The thing is, like, the way I see, like, it looks like they concern way more to their kids get the medal than the safety of the kid. It cannot be like this.
No, that's
you
crazy.
know?
Well, let's take a look at some techniques. I know you have a really nice choke.
Right? Yeah, I can show you the choke over here that I show my students on the gym. So we start from a guard position. That's I call the Terminator choke. It's one of those my students would put name on it, Bob Walls and Greg Andriola. The Terminator choke is a kind of normal choke, just a little bit different setup. So I'm gonna be over here controlling his collar, can be this side, beginning from this side, or this side over here already, right? My right hand's gonna be over here on his collar. I'm gonna use my left hand over here, grab the collar just to slide my hand through. Most of the time when my hand get over here, look, I have no angle anymore to put my hand behind his neck. For that choke, I need my hand as deep as possible, So I'm gonna start to slide myself sideways. I can push him this way, look. Move my hip over here, swing my body, look, as deep as I can, and grab just the collar. Squeeze the collar in your hand. Now I bend my arm back to his chest. As I have the control over here, it's time to feel the pressure over here because my hand was deep, right? So now I'm gonna go to the regular choke, regular scissor choke. So he's come to defend the position over here to push my arm away. I'm gonna control his arm over here with my left hand. And then now I'm gonna pull his arm all the way across to my right arm. As I pull over here, look, I step on the floor with my right leg, and then I do a shrimp. And then I sit up at the same time, and put my chin over here, look. As I put my chin over here, he cannot get up. If I do like this, look, he's get up and escape. But as I block over here, look, now he cannot go nowhere. And then I place my left hand on the floor and just pull the collar, look. And that's really tight choke.
That is so tight. That grip was so far. I've never felt a grip that deep. And I was totally expecting you to go for a Bravo choke, but that was a one-handed Bravo choke. That was amazing.
Right?
Can you see that one more time?
Yeah, sure. So over here, start to fight with him, get my right hand across his chest and hold the collar, pull the gi a little bit. Now I'm gonna use my hip, shrimp a little bit for my left, right? And then I swing my body all the way around and slide my hand through and grab just the collar. As I grab, I come back right here, elbow on his chest. Goes the choke. He's come to defend the choke. I hold over here, pull all the way across, shrimp, sit up, and then pull the collar.
One last time, can we see a real speed with no explanation, just how you would do it in competition.
All right, let's go. Hold up here.
That comes on fast. That's a really nice one.
So, like I told you, that we have two ways to do the same choke. One comes from the butterfly guard with the hooks over here. Right? I got the hook, and I get the same position over here. Keep my leg over here. Always look tight on his hip, because when I leg loose, he can jump over easy. Over here, he's still like concerned a little bit, like, oh, he's a little bit tight, and I'm gonna try risk. My hand goes over here the same way, as deep as possible, and control. Now look, my left hand comes to his elbow, and I push his elbow through my belly. As I push, I lift him up, look, and spin him a little bit. As I spin, he puts his hand right where I want. Now I lean him back with my legs, sit up, and squeeze.
So you tricked me, putting my arm right across it. You don't, the first one, you pulled it across. This time, you made me base.
Instead, I pull and fight against your arm. I make you put your arm on the floor to protect the sweep. If you don't put your arm over there, I'm gonna succeed in the sweep.
Right, and I couldn't base with this hand because you pulled my elbow across.
Yep. All right, so over here, get the control, slide out, hold dip, come over here, push his elbow in.
Wow, and again, if I don't base, then you just sweep and go on
Just
top.
sweep, yeah.
Terminator choke, those are really nice ones. Where did you come up with that?
It was training with my students, and then it's like as I push him over, he's put the hand on the floor, I'm like, whoa. It's like he just gave it to me what I used to get. Mm-hmm. Right?
Do you think a smaller guy can do this to a bigger, stronger guy?
Yes, can.
Yeah.
Can, because of the leverage over here. Like, the most important thing on that leverage over here is don't try to sweep him over there, right? You try to pick him off the floor, look, and then you turn, right? Yeah. So lift him up, turn a little bit. And then he's gonna be right on the position that you want to step him up.
Terminator choke, guys, drill it. Terrinha, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
If people want to find you online, where can they find you?
It's, you go to Gracie Barra New England, that's my homepage, GracieBarraNewEngland.com, or you can go to Facebook, Carlos Terrinha, Gracie Barra New England.
Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time. Keep on rolling.
Good to be over here with you, Jake. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
That concludes this installment of This Week in BJJ. Watch and review past episodes on iTunes and YouTube. And then be sure to join us again right here for another live edition of This Week in BJJ. Brought to you by BudoVideos.com.